Hello, hello, Detroit. It is 11:30 on a school board meeting Tuesday. Meeting started at 5:30 today. This is Aaliyah Moore. I am talking about DPSCD, Detroit Public Schools Community District. So much to say, but I'm not going to make this video long at all because it is 11:30, which means we were at the board meeting for, I'll be fair, 5 hours. But it was good, okay? I so thank our Wyandotte parents for coming out. I appreciate you all. Unfortunately, they were not able to speak at this meeting, but I'm quite sure as this fight to either remove these cell phone towers or not continue to add them to our DPSCD buildings, as this fight continues, as we gain momentum, hopefully we will, and those Wyandotte parents will have the opportunity to come back and continue to stand with us. We had 45 public comments in person today, Detroit. And we had, I believe, 10 virtually. Some of them did leave, but the board had to extend our public comment to 2 hours. They voted after the first hour to extend. They extended again for another hour. So it was a little bit over 2 hours of public comments. So Detroit showed up and showed out today. I do encourage, as I did in the meeting, all of our DPSCD employees to continue to come to these meetings. One meeting will not do. Even with your union representation, one meeting will not do. I encourage your union reps, whether it's paraprofessionals, whether it's teachers, whether it's dean of culture, whatever. If your job is in jeopardy and you have a union rep, you need to be on their head to continue going to these meetings throughout May, June, July, pretty much the rest of this year. And they need to go in demanding. And you all, as teachers, staff, paraprofessionals, y'all need to think of striking at this point. Because it's quite obvious that this board, along with Nikolai Viti, is prepared, willing, and able to have these paraprofessionals go in the lunchroom, these paraprofessionals go down to kindergarten or pre-K. I'm sorry that we're in kindergarten to go down to pre-K. And there's not a lot of compassion when it's coming down to these jobs. You know, basically Viti said for the people that are in risk of getting that pink slip if they haven't already gotten it, that, hey, we doing y'all a favor because we're offering you further employment in another position. So basically, you know, we're not trying to just kick you out on the curb. We're trying to offer something to you. But the teacher stood, like I said, but just y'all got to keep coming back. And y'all got to stay on y'all union head, union reps. Stay on their head, paraprofessionals, teachers, everybody that's in jeopardy, stay on their head and hold them accountable for representing you because you pay your dues. But like I told teachers, y'all got to come back as well because the union can't do it all. But y'all have to do it and y'all have to come. I mean, it's a late meeting. Some of those committee meetings are in the daytime when you all are teaching. Hey, either you're going to stand or you're going to fall or you're going to find another job. It's real simple. But if you still got passion, if you still love what you do and want to stay in these buildings, you got to stand. But with 45 in person and 10 online, that's a good start. That's good momentum, but we got to keep it going, y'all. Moses Fields was discussed. God bless the native son, Valerie Lockhart, that writes and runs that paper. She put it out there. Dr. Viti, Gonna try to protect his principal and assistant principal. Yeah, we investigated and got the paraprofessionals out of there, but we don't have no quote unquote evidence of Moses Field's principal and assistant principal and staff trying to hide it. But we will continue to investigate. Boy, bye. As far as these cell phone towers, let me tell you this, Detroit. Now, some of you naysayers, some of you Denby people and other people that got towers on your buildings, y'all want to do y'all own quote unquote research before y'all take a stance. Let me tell y'all, Detroit, we thought with the help of the Wyandotte parents collectively, they one Pacific Wyandotte parent, she emailed me 15 roofs to show the 15 schools that DPS allegedly had with cell phone towers. Ding, ding, ding. We're at 29, Detroit. 29 DPS schools. Detroit Public School Community District Schools have 29 cell phone towers on them. 29 different schools. And we only thought it was 15. Apparently, Mr. Slick, Dr. Vitti, and this crooked board, they are blaming this initial contract that is supposed to be with Crown Castle Company. I don't know what company that is. I'm waiting on my FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act. I filled that out last Tuesday. I got an email while I was in the meeting saying that my FOIA has been extended to May the 2nd. So supposedly by May the 2nd, they're going to give me the information that I asked for concerning these towers, concerning the contracts, concerning the money. Okay? So apparently Dr. Vitti and this board want to blame emergency management for the 29, well, I'll change that, for the 15 buildings back in 2014 that received the cell phone towers. So between 2014 and now, additional 14 schools have had cell phone towers placed on them. Apparently, the contract was for $6.8 million, right? But just think about this. He wants to blame whoever was in charge, and Dr. Vitti and the board want to blame whoever was in charge in 2014 for the contract to put these towers up, these cell phone towers. Iris Taylor, Angelique Mayberry Peterson, Sonia Mays, Misha Stallworth. I don't know if Lamar was one of the original ones, Lamar Lemons. And I always miss one. I always do. Oh, and Deborah Hunter Harville. Those were the original board when they came in. After emergency management left, Judge Rhodes left. So the question is, who did we have in authority back in 2014? Until I get my FOIA, was it Judge Rhodes? Was it Robert Bobb? Was it Roy Roberts? They closed Oakman in 2012, so Roy Roberts was here. So it either was Darnell Early, Roy Roberts, or the judge, Judge Rhodes. So either way, we're supposed to be in this contract until, if I'm not mistaken, 2055. They're supposed to revisit it in November of this year. But thank you, Miss Elena. So 2014 was Roy Roberts. So apparently he got this contract together with Crown Castle Company. And these are just notes that I'm getting from Vitti because my FOIA has not been answered yet. And supposedly, now Vitti does have some dyslexia. So he did say that it's generating $2,000 per year. But I was under the impression that the Wyandotte school was supposed to get, $1,200 to $1,000 a month for having that one cell phone tower. So, and then Dr. Vitti had the audacity to say that some of that funding was used to purchase food for the board. food. So our children, staff, stakeholders around the surrounding 29 buildings are subjecting themselves to high levels of radiation that we don't know and don't see what's going on right now. But he's willing to do this, blame it on the board, for food and other things. But that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. At that point, because he's answering, but it was so many questions that couldn't be answered. Hey, Mom Watkins, how are you? So many questions that couldn't be answered. The board said that they are going to put a lot of their answers on the website, and they're going to follow up with more answers at the next meeting. But because we were still we were still doing public comment, they were answering them at 10:30, and they still hadn't went in closed session, and they still had agenda items to go through and vote on. So easily to say they're still there, or maybe not. But I so thank board member Sherry Gay-Danyogo, because our very weak president, Angelique Mayberry Peterson, was pretty much set to close up shop and go into closed session. And Sherry said, I can't do this. I can't continue or go behind closed doors and vote or potentially continue to be blamed on decisions that I didn't vote on or I had no idea was happening. Like I said in another video, Detroit, getting rid of paraprofessionals on a kindergarten level was never in the discussion in any of the committee meetings, let alone the board meetings. And I attend 4 a month, every month. So it is a lot of sidebar conversations, quote unquote, high level. I'm using Dr. Vidi's words. And the weak president, Angelique Mayberry Peterson. There's a lot of high level conversations and decisions being made without this whole board knowing what's going on. And it takes a strong board member to stand. I'm not saying Sherry's perfect, but she's the only one that's currently standing right now for the community, for the teachers, stakeholders. We got to support her because she's saying we need to clean this up because there's a lot of confusion on these positions. And then also, Detroit must know that principals and assistant principals don't have a union. Our principal, assistant principal, AP, at Paul Robeson Malcolm X Academy, her last day is May the 5th because she's accepting the buyout. Sherry, with her speech, was saying, why are we not letting these people leave at the end of the year? We are going to be testing starting what? The end of April? So why push these people out in the midst of all that? They getting ready to go and we getting kids ready for testing. Don't that just equal failure to you all, Detroit? That's why I'm convinced, and this is just my opinion, because I'm not going to talk y'all to death tonight because it's almost 12 in the a.m. Because I'm going to come back tomorrow with a little more depth and a little more, collecting my thoughts. But I'm going to tell y'all this. Anytime this lady, Sherry Gay-Danyogo, speaks over the president, letting her know that these people don't have a union and why are you trying to push them out, and even going on to say that she's received emails and phone calls about intimidation, about hurry up and leave, because APs and principals don't have unions. So who do they run to? Who do they pay confessions to? And even though you may be paying them, because from my knowledge, our AP is getting a $70,000 buyout with some health insurance benefits, short term. So what if everybody don't want to leave just now, but they're being forced to leave? You said Robert Bob told the secretary she would be fired if they gave us a glass of water. Huh. Yes, ma'am. Ultimate disrespect. I remember at the height of when Robert Bob was there. No, that was Roy Roberts though. But when Robert Bob was there, along with all the others Okay? They were very disrespectful to the board that was in position. It was almost like we didn't have a board. They called themselves the board in exile because that was really what they were. And we had to find that out the hard way back in 2012. But, says Miss Hurd, 22, said they're trying to find out why they're laying off paras when they have all this money. Hey, they're supposed to have a financial meeting. I will post that, and it's supposed to be strictly on finances, and it's coming up. But money is spent where money is wanted to be spent. Oh, yeah, you ain't got to say less about Miss Karen Weaver. Hey, but she's still in the background somewhere. Still, maybe. But Detroit, we have a board that is determined to move forward with their agenda, with the exception of Sherry Gate Danyogo. And I believe that they are setting us up to fail. Plain and simple. I don't trust Dr. Nikolai Vitti. I don't trust the financial man, Jeremy Vedito. I don't trust Sonia May. I don't trust any of them. Sherry has my, support because she speaks constantly about transparency and the community and staff. It's a constant. Those board members, those student board members tonight, they told Nikolai VT up. And I always encourage those babies. Continue to speak truth to power. Continue. Because you are the children that are in these classrooms. But they told that man up. He's always talking about advocating for Lansing, right? Advocating for equitable funding. Those babies said, how are you advocating? How are you sending your staff out to advocate for us? And that's the big question. This man does a lot of talking, but he's allowed to do all that talking because his bosses are not demanding transparency. They're not demanding, and they act like they don't have a solid vision of where they want this board and where they want this district to go. And this is what happens. When you have a weak board, you have a dominating superintendent. He becomes the emergency manager. He becomes their bosses. But Detroit tonight, y'all showed them. We're your bosses and we're going to speak. But like I said, it takes more than one meeting. It's not about division between, regular ed, general ed teachers, the special needs teachers, the ESC teachers that are getting more money. But like teachers got up and said, it is strategic division between us. Nikolai Vitti, we ain't trying to divide y'all. We trying to help y'all. This man has been able to do this, Detroit, because a weak board, his bosses, which we are their bosses, are allowing this man to wreak havoc. Get rid of veteran, seasoned staff that really care, that go the extra mile, but they don't want to go through training again. People have been in this DPSCD, when it was DPS. They've been in these positions for years, have much more work in their hearts to do. But I don't want to go from being a paraprofessional to go slanging some trash lunch. That's not what I want to do. But in order to keep my job, that's what I got to do if I don't want to relocate. And that's not fair. But what we going to do, Detroit? Teachers, I am just a volunteer parent. But if y'all want to strike, come September, I'll be right on that picket line with y'all. Because you have to demand it. We had some strong teachers that had no fear tonight at that mic. But y'all got to come back. Y'all got to go to y'all union and say what we gonna do. And if it's not opening these buildings back up in August, do it. Do it. Because they can't run this district without y'all. Because trust me, Nikolai Vitti kids at Divine Child with no cell phone towers, plenty of resources. Everybody else on that board, with the exception of Latrice McClendon, because she is a parent with 3 kids in the district. I bet you her kid's school ain't got no tower on it. But I'm going to do my research and find out. But the point is, y'all, if we don't get what we want as teachers, staff, students, parents, this is our district, our money, our schools. So parents, support these teachers and staff with whatever their next plan of action is. For these cell phone towers, we got to come together and find out the remaining of the 29 schools total. If it's not going to be in my FOIA, we got to find out. We got to find out who is Crown Capital. What company is that? And supposedly this contract is going to be revisited in November of 23 of this year. So what are we doing, Detroit? We don't even know what's going on above our heads. You know, it's time for us we woke, but some of us need to be a little bit more woke. Just a little bit. But like I said, I'm not going to talk y'all to death tonight because I'm going to be back tomorrow. But I do thank those Wyandotte parents for coming out and supporting us. We will support you. We want y'all to do the same. Contact your legislation. Because that's where it's all about in Lansing. Because it's obvious this board don't care. They trying to stuff their face with food while we sitting up in a microwave. You heard what I said, Detroit. So, I'm done for the night, y'all. But we got the ball rolling. Like I said, Moses Fields is being investigated. But like I said, VD tried to wash it down, y'all. He's putting the blame on paraprofessionals instead of really trying to investigate if his staff handled those complaints correctly. But Lansing gonna figure it out. Because we ain't got to worry about an investigation district-wide. Lansing gonna figure it out. And I hope and pray they do. And I hope and pray that justice is served for those babies over at Moses Fields. But Detroit, we got to pay attention to these 29 schools with this active radiation on top of them with a board that don't give a shit. And I'm cussing tonight, y'all. That's why I'm really about to get out of here. Because I almost got put out the meeting tonight when Miss Angelique Mayberry Peterson with her weak self come telling me to be quiet because I'm hollering out, finding out we got 29 schools with these microwave radiation filled hallways and lunchrooms, and she telling me to be quiet. That's when I let go. You be quiet. You don't tell me to be quiet because my child in this building now. These other kids is in these buildings now. Yours ain't. Vidi's ain't. So come on. Come on. So I love y'all, Detroit. Y'all have a good night. No passion in how outspoken you are now. Yes, Miss Bussy. It came a long way from Oakman, okay? I was shy. I was nervous back then. Y'all gave me some encouraging words. And when they came and tried to close our school, this voice ain't left. That was 2012. And I can't be quiet. Talia in the 7th, I got all the way up into high school. And if we still have a district, I'ma still be at these meetings. Because as long as we got babies, I'm here. It ain't just for me. It ain't just for mine. Ours is all of ours. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to leave y'all with this. We got a weak president and a weak board to the point where the students, the 2 students on the board had to highlight all of our babies' accomplishments. Now, true enough, the district recognized our chess team from Renaissance. They recognized another teacher. They're upgrading awards. They're no longer getting what? They're no longer getting paper. They're giving them glass now. They're putting paper inside of glass. So there is a little upgrade. But why not upgrade when you upgraded your salary to come to each one of these meetings? Detroit, the school board gets $250 a meeting to come. Late, if you come late or you leave early, you still get your $250. And they raised their pay at the height of COVID, right when Dr. Vitti got his pay raise. They talked about teachers' jail tonight. They said it's a real place. Nicole Conway still waiting to get her job, still waiting to be placed. Hello? Vitti get up there. Oh, she's going to be placed. That lady been won her stuff and should have been back in the classroom. But y'all got her down in teachers' jail with another reputable, I'm sorry if I messed that up, but a good black male principal up there trying to save his job. We can't make this stuff up, Detroit. This board and this superintendent is killing us softly. And it's sad. It's sad that you have parents, educators that are on this board and this superintendent's side when they don't even know. They killing us softly, Detroit. But I'm still hopeful. I'm going to stay prayed up. And I'm going to just, hey, let Detroit continue to speak. But I'm a parent, and I'm telling y'all staff, shut it down. Y'all heard this chat? If we don't get what we want, shut it down. Shut it down in August, y'all. Y'all ain't got to come back. They can't fire all of y'all. Because trust me, Angelique ain't going in no classroom. The busy bishop ain't going in no classroom. The fake nurse, Iris Taylor, ain't going in no classroom. God bless her, Sherry Gay ain't going back in no classroom. Misha Stallworth West, she too busy taking care of her child that she can't even hardly attend meetings. Baby coming to the meetings. Got Dr. Vitti holding the baby in committee meetings. She ain't going in no classroom. Latrice McClendon, she's a corporate woman. She ain't going in no classroom. Shut it down, teachers. Y'all got my support. And I'm quite sure with all these changes, with all this rearranging, y'all got Detroit support as well. So y'all have a blessed night. Y'all research these towers. We got to come up with petitions, virtual petitions, hand petitions. We got to make a lot of noise because, and I'm going to leave it at that. This contract could have been canceled. They could have paid. Oh, I'm sorry. The contract supposedly is up at 2055. But Vitti did revisit it in 2017. They didn't have to revisit that. And we had enough COVID money to try to get out of this contract because we still got $700 million in the sky, remember? And the conversation of inflation is ongoing. So just know that all of these spectacular projects that this $700 million is supposed to take care of, inflation gonna knock that right out. So if we're talking about inflation, let's use some of that $700 million and get out of this contract. Let's not add on more microwave frequency schools with all this heavy radiation. And we don't even know what's happening. We don't even know. But do they care? No, because they want to eat. Vitti want to eat and the board want to eat. Because that's what the man said. That's what Nikolai Vitti making $500,000 with his ignorant self telling us that they using some of this money to feed staff, to feed the board. But he's smart because guess what he telling us? I can't do nothing my bosses won't let me do. So y'all need to take it up with them because y'all voted for them. They just came to Florida to pick me up. Pick me and my wife up and my crooked crew. So we can come and rape y'all too. Just like we did rape Florida and had all them principals standing together writing a 5-page letter to get him out. So Mr. Lamar Lemons, even though you're not on this board no more, Georgia Lemons, even though you're not on this board no more, I would love to hear from you. I would love to get some inside scoop about these cell phone towers because you were in the loop, sir. Your wife was in the loop, sir. So, I mean, if you still on the side of right, Let us know something. Give us a little inside scoop. Because once again, you and your wife gone. So it's all about accountability at this point, because this board is throwing it off on emergency management, but yet they still revisited it when they got in position. And they're going to revisit again in November. So come on, Mr. Lamar Lemons. Don't be quiet now, because you went down to Florida with the fast talker, Deborah Hunter Harville, and y'all took pride in bringing this man up here for him to be manipulative, for him to try to cause great division between staff, and ultimately continue to kill this district softly. Y'all have a blessed night. Stay encouraged. Stay prayed up. Whoever you believe in, tap in so we can get these cell phone towers together, so we can get these positions, critical positions that these schools need. They got to stay. Something got to give. It's never too late, but we got to stay consistent. And for all those scary people, hey, I was once that person. Don't want to talk, don't want to say nothing. But you're going to get to your point where you're going to leave, you're going to sink or you're going to swim. You're going to speak or you're going to leave. Everybody got choices, but for those people that are scared, like I said in another video, stay on the porch. Go to work tomorrow. But please don't intimidate, discourage, or hinder anybody that's trying to speak truth to power and trying to speak up for you, even though you too scared to speak up for yourself. The bodies in the room made a difference tonight, but our voices and our actions are going to be the key for this district. Because if not, they're killing us softly, Detroit. Y'all have a good night.